Hey, hold on. Hope everybody is well. So, we'll jump into the subject at hand, and then we're going to get into some Q&A, and I got a few things as well I think you find interesting. All right, so first of all, we're getting close to 1,000 people within a week and a half on the Discord channel. What are we at now? We're at 980 people. So one of you might be the 1,000th Discord person. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, so let's just jump into the subject at hand. And then I'm going to do the, then I'll do the Q&A. So let me just jump this over. Hold on a second. All right, well, I'll turn down the music a bit more. If you're wondering about that track, that's my own track. People ask me all the time. I put that together. I created the drum beat on my acoustic kit, and then I reproduced it all on iPad, believe it or not. So it sounds pretty good. I like it. And yeah, I have to edit it a bit more. Anyway. All right, so let me just jump into the subject, and then we will get into it. Here we go. All right, so another Quora article. So as usual, I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to give you my 2 cents on what I think this writer got right and wrong. We'll see what happens. As a developer, why don't you like to use Python, JavaScript, and PHP as code bases? So he wrote this in 2020. Python, JavaScript, and PHP are dynamically typed. That means you can declare a variable, and you can keep changing them up, different types, etc. Dynamic typing is a great deceiver. It makes you think programming is easier because you don't have to write as much text, but it is actually making you do more work. Well, we'll see about this. That's because dynamic typing forces you to do static type checking by reading code and documentation, running runtime tests. It's up to you and only you to make sure you're not assigning a string to a variable that can only be an integer, or an integer to a variable that can only be a class instance. With statically typed languages, the compiler does that for you. This is also true. If you're having to rely on reading code and documentation to determine type safety, then you're working for the compiler rather than the compiler working for you. Furthermore, you can only verify safety with runtime tests. There's no way you can trust yourself to be as accurate and complete as a compiler. Are you sure you've written all the checks you needed? You can never be as good as a compiler's static guarantees. And again, it's you doing the work rather than the compiler. Python, JavaScript, and PHP may be fine for small personal projects, particularly non-critical, throwaway, use once and discard code, but for the reason noted above, they are absolutely not suited for mission-critical, large-scale software engineering, even though they sometimes wrongfully and painfully use that way. The evidence on the ground is that he is wrong. So let's see what the comments are. I haven't read this before, and this is why TypeScript exists, because JavaScript is essentially unavoidable in web design, but you really need static typing at some level to make it possible to maintain. I completely agree. But I've sort of given up on trying to make that argument. The problem is not enough developers have enough broad experience with languages to get it. What else we're going on here? Most of the comments disagreeing because they are emotionally attached to a language. Read the above post unbiased. What he is saying is this: you have an application and have an entity, let's say user. User has address. Address in turn has postal code, but you made a boo-boo. Instead of postal code, you wrote, let's see what's going on. You wrote postal code, and it's already in the project. What's postal code? And it's already in the project. Well, that's an IDE should be able to catch that, right? Now you want to fix this. What do? Find and replace? That only confirms my point. Again, IDEs can fix that. Do manually? What the F? Well, you don't want to do that manually. If you were a strongly typed language, all you have to do is just change the name, and the compiler will show you where the build issues are. So there's a good IDE. Neat, isn't it? But you know what? It's better, and any IDE worth a salt will offer refactor name feature. It'll do it for you. Okay, so there you go. Let's give another example. You have a method which looks like build username user, and I'd like to call this. What am I passing to this method? It is a string. Is it a user ID or is it a user object? It might seem like I am biased, but I still have most experience with PHP, and it used to be my favorite language till I learned TypeScript and safety it provided, till I gave Golang a try, and you know what? Java's good, so is C#. If you start building critical systems in a dynamically typed environment, you're doing it wrong. Stop it. Also, WordPress argument, really? You think WordPress is as good? Have you ever seen a crappy code? Okay. So let me just break into this. I'll give you my nerd's experience going back to the 1990s. And of course, people are going to have different experiences and different points of view. And depending on the circumstances, these point of views can be right or wrong. I have written lots of software in Java. I've written some software in C#.NET. I've written in Python. I've written in other loosely typed languages, Python, JavaScript, PHP, and others. So what have I found? Yes, in a perfect world, I prefer strongly typed languages because the code is easier to read because of what the variable types are. And it's a little bit more solid. That being said, the problem is that you have verbosity in the strongly typed languages, meaning it takes a lot more code to get anything done. So what you need to do is have a great IDE with dynamically typed languages, and you need to have some protocols put in place in terms of your development. Good naming protocols, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is going to help a lot. I haven't looked at TypeScript. I'm not sure how nimble a language it is, but if you can find a combination of a nimble language like a PHP or a Python or a JavaScript with some strongly typed characteristics and some safety put into place, then you're golden. Guess what? PHP 8. So there you go. Can you build large software? As this guy asserts that those languages you shouldn't build large software with, well, the evidence is strong and it's clear, my nerdly friends. There are massively successful software that are written in these toy languages, as I suggested in the title. So that's my 2 cents on that. We'll do a little Q&A after I cover a few other things. First of all, give me a thumbs up if you like this type of video. 1 thumbs up. We have 112 people and only 22 thumbs up. That's pathetic. That's pathetic. That's like Ruby slow with the thumbs there. We don't want to be Ruby slow with the thumbs. So I hope you were able to hear me and see me clearly. I'm going to do a test here. Ruby, nerd, just to make sure. Let me know. And yeah, so let me just go over a few things. So books, people always ask me, what books do you recommend? So I'm going to start with non-coding book. This book is the one I'm promoting this month, or this week. If you want to understand your mind, why you do things, this is such an important book. The Naked Ape. This is my copy I bought from when I was a wee lad, 150 years ago, longer. And you can see, it's so old, the pages are yellow. This book, you have a couple of zoologists who basically use zoological technique to look at human beings and how they operate. And it will give you a lot of insight into you and into the people around you. And it will be very empowering, trust me, in your career. Remember, when you want to move from junior dev to advanced dev to master dev, a lot of it has to do with mental control and being able to interact with people nicely. Yeah, thanks for the thumbs, guys. So if you're a total beginner to coding, check out this book. This is my web design book, HTML, CSS, HTML5, CSS3, and a whole bunch about the web design stuff. So let me get to the third book, and then I'll get to the super chats. And I got something special to show you guys, something that will help you with your coding on a day-to-day basis. Refactoring. Algorithms, it's okay. But refactoring is fantastic. This is going to level up your game as quicker than anything else. Refactoring is a process of improving your code refining it, etc. There's set rules and practices and so forth. This is the Java version, links below for that. There's also a JavaScript version, links below, but it applies to any of the modern languages. Highly recommend. Refactoring and design patterns is what you do after. Links below for design patterns as well, what you do after you start coding. So let me get to the super chats. Kid Poodle, Rupal, 100 Ruby. I appreciate that, dude. Ruby. I think I had another one too up here, right? I had another super chat. I do. Oh, a couple of super chats. Put these drums on Discord, please. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Don't worry about that. I'll get it out there. Super stickers. $5 from James. Thanks, James. Appreciate it. Shiba dog bowing respectfully. I appreciate that. All right, good. Hey guys, how are you? There's still hope for Ruby. There's a lot of jobs. Okay, I make fun of Ruby. It's part of my thing here. I make fun of Ruby. Oh, by the way, my name is Stef. This is the official channel salute. You got to be able to do this. If you're a true coder, you'll be able to do this instantly. Just keep that in mind. So, yeah, code long and profitably. Code long and profitably. So there we go. By the way, what do you mean by toy language? Well, I was making reference to the article where the guy in the article was kind of putting down these languages as not something you could use for big, large-scale projects, but that makes no sense. It's 12:30 a.m., so I can't quite say evening. All right. Well, thanks for watching, dudes. Why would you say good evening, mammals? Let me scroll down, see if we got any more questions. I like Python, PHP, and JS. No regrets. No, they're great. TypeScript is always yelling at me. Is jQuery out of date? Well, it's not used too much. It's making a little bit of a resurgence, but jQuery is kind of in the backbone of the interwebs. A lot of things like Bootstrap use jQuery. So, I'm not running out to learn jQuery. Just be aware of what it does. Maybe spend like 10 minutes doing a little tutorial on jQuery so you get a feeling for what it is, but it's not something you're going to use on a regular basis these days. That is for sure. Steph, are you a human or person? Steph, are you human? Steph, when are we meeting? I don't know. I'll figure that one out. Should we go with Flutter or PWA for small business? That's a good question. What I would do is for the job, I would scope out your job in terms of the features and requirements of the particular job that you're doing for the small business. And then what I would do is I would look at Flutter and see what it can do for you, and look at PWA, see what it can do for you, and then decide which technology is better for that particular job. I'm very code and what's the other word? A very code and framework agnostic, meaning they all have their place. They're all good. They're all good except Ruby. No, I'm just joking. Ruby too, even on a rare occasion. What do we do? Okay, 130 people. Not bad. Up. It was go with the thumbs, guys. Help me out with the thumbs. It's good for the Google algorithms. Let me adjust this image a little bit. And yeah, I appreciate that. Let's go on. Andre, I guess. Hey, Stefan, cheers from Slovakia. Cheers, man. By the way, JavaScript is fine. Of course it is. But mostly is used with TypeScript because static typing is necessary in real big projects. Yeah, if you're going really huge, static typing has a lot of benefits. But most of us are not working on these massive projects to begin with, right? Yeah, there we go. What's PWA? Some new code on block? No, PWA is short for Progressive Web Apps, and it's basically using web technologies, HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, to create applications. All the modern cell phones now support PWA. And basically, they don't have to. You get a lot of native app-like capability without having to install and write it and build an app and install it on a app store, etc. Just look at PWA, you'll see all about that. Let's all go back to programming assembly. Exactly. He is accusing people of being emotionally attached to languages while doing that himself. Should I go to college at 26? Well, you have to look at your career orientation. You should look at some of my videos on YouTube. I get into a whole bunch of details about that. Oh, by the way, let me just answer this guy's question. So 26 is not too old, but don't go into debt. Don't go into debt. You can get great jobs as a coder without having to go into debt or get a degree, depending on what you want to do. Many people from Studioweb have gone on to get jobs within a few months and beat out people with comp sci degrees. So yeah, you can do that as well. Yeah, so you know what? Let me take another break. So we got a lot of people on this channel who are into code. So I want to promote the Discord. So I created this Discord server about a week and a half ago, and we have nearly 1,000 people on. So this is a drive to get that last 20 people to join up. So check out the Discord. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got lounge, development talk, coding help, Lizard Wizard discussions, career advice, etc., etc. As we speak, there's 157 people on. So I invite you to join that. Link is below. And I think I'm going to have custom shows on here at some point. And we have some other ideas where me and the moderators were working on to make this a premium Discord channel for developers and people looking for careers. All right, thanks, Moreau807. He just joined. That's cool. Or she. And yeah, so check out the Discord below. It's a good place. It's also a good place where you guys can discuss with each other, get to know other people over, when I'm not online. Because a lot of people like having conversations in the live chat. So you can take it offline. And yeah, so yeah, a bunch of people are starting to join. So that's cool. So let me get into some other stuff. So a lot of people come to my channel because they want to learn from a crusty old 169-year-old nerd such as myself. So one of the things people ask me about, how about music? How about good coding music? I got your answer. So we're going to go real old school here. When I was a kid, this was brand new technology, but for you guys, it's probably old. So I'm into vinyl. So if you don't know, this is Japanese vinyl. You can see because you got the Japanese thing here. It's called the Obi strip. Japanese vinyl was very sought after by audiophile nerds because it sounds better quality control. Anyway, so here's an album by a band called Santana. It's called Caravanserai. This is like Santana meets Pink Floyd. This is such a great album. It's mood music. I highly recommend. You can get it on Spotify. Unfortunately, they didn't do a good job digitizing this album. The vinyl sounds so much better than the digital. Not always the case. Sometimes they can remaster old analog music and it sounds fantastic. Anyway, Caravanserai, Santana. Go look it up. You can find it on YouTube even. Great music to code by. Great mood music. If you're dating, if you're going on a date with a lady, she'll be very impressed that you listen to Caravanserai. You get double thumbs up from the girls with Caravanserai. So this is an album I highly recommend. One of the best albums of all time, especially for coders. So I have another one as well, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So I don't know if any of you know Santana, but yeah, Caravanserai dudes, check it out. One of the best. Let's see, we'll answer some more question. You could, or you just learn the stuff yourself. It depends on what you want to do. All right, so where we go. Do Python features like assert and type hints help mitigate those problems, or are they simply not enough? No, it all contributes, right? This guy I don't agree with the premise of the article, in all honesty. There's pros and cons to any languages. I have one of my former students. He has a company that's worth about $500 million. It's all PHP. It runs perfectly fine. They got plenty of users. It's like, it's a nonsense piece. Yeah, I actually, in my experience, strongly typed languages have certain subtle advantages. So you have to do a little bit more bookkeeping on your end in terms of naming conventions and so forth. But just use a good IDE helps a lot. And some of these languages, like PHP 8, brings in some of these features as well. So there you go. Stef, you're a successful web developer, but what is your job? My job is a tech entrepreneur. I run Studioweb. Just go to studioweb.com, and you'll see that I deal with lots and lots of schools around North America. So we just go there, hold on, studioweb.com. And so I deal with tons of schools. Let's go to the desktop. And I have been for a year. So here it is. So it's an educational platform. See me on TV here. Anyway, if you go down, you can see just some of the districts that I work with. This is a small sample. So that's one of the things I do. So this is it's an interactive training platform that people can use. We also sell to, we have a store. So we sell also versions of these courses in interactive training courses in packages for the general public. They're different from what the schools get, more career-oriented. But anyway, so that's one of the things I do in that regard. While I am here, for people who are into development or new to development, I have a free webinar, CODER'S Career Path webinars, 29-minute videos. Sign up to my newsletter. You may get a newsletter from me once a week. And it's 29 minutes where I go over everything about, not everything. I go over things like how the language impacts the type of coding you will do, how the language impacts the type of place of work you might find yourself. So for example, if you are writing C++ code, you will be doing a whole different type of coding than if you were writing JavaScript, as an example. If you're writing Java code, you will likely be working in a totally different type of company than if you were writing PHP code, as an example. So there's 29-minute video. I go over C, C++, Java, PHP, Python, C#, .NET, Java, etc. So that's a useful video for you guys. So there you go. Are we going? All right. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. I appreciate it. Give me 1 thumbs up if you like this type of broadcast. Give me 2 thumbs down if you hate my long hair. If you hate my long hair, 2 thumbs down. Show how much you really hate me. I already got a couple, 4 thumbs down. That's pretty good. Let me give you another album that's fantastic to code by. It's a little bit more active, but it's a famous album, one of the best albums of all time again. David Bowie. Maybe you've heard of David Bowie. So there's another Japanese pressing because it's high quality sound. Here it is. You see the label. David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust. It's like a concept album. Very good for coding. Really well recorded, this album, by the way. Good. If you're into sound quality and separation of instruments, it's a great album. So David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust. Those are my 2 albums to code by suggestions. Will open your mind. All right. So let's go on. No, not any Ruby. Please don't say that. PHP is for programmers. Python is for developers. JS is for C#.NET or Python Django for financial software. I would lean C#.NET simply because a lot of financial institutions have a heavy investment in Microsoft technologies. Excel comes to mind, first of all. And so if you're using C# to be able to interface with Excel spreadsheets and so on, it will be easier. So for that reason alone, when you're considering technology stacks for a particular project, you have to look at the ecosystem, not just the merits of the language. The ecosystem around it plays a major role. All right, let's see how our Discord is doing. Okay, people are joining. So if you're new to the stream, we set up a Discord channel for you guys about a week and a half ago. So yeah, every little green arrow is somebody new joining down here. So yeah, I invite you to join. We're almost at 1,000 members. We're very close to 1,000 members. So I think we're going to hit it. So you could be the 1,000th member on this Discord. So I invite you to join that. There's a lot of good stuff going on there. All right, and so we got the lounge, we got the developer talk, WordPress CMS talk, Lizard Wizard, career advice, and we're going to have all kinds of different things coming on there. I'm talking with the moderators about all that. Right now we have 160 people on the Discord, so that's kind of cool. You can see here in the top right. So there you go. So I invite you to join that. Check it out. Discord. Yep, more people. Thanks for joining. Freddie Boston just joined. And we'll see how we're doing. How many people? We'll see how many people on the server now. Server settings. Where's it? Members. We're at 990 members. 990. So we're very close to 1,000. So that's cool. We'll hit 1,000. I'm pretty sure this time around. All right, let's get back to some questions. Hey, Matthew, how are you? If you're wondering what this is, these are the official salutes. This is the official salute of the channel. Code long and profit. That's one way of saying it. So I borrowed this from Star Trek, by the way. So let's scroll back up. Let's go back up. Missed a bunch of questions. My apologies. All right, Matthew. Hello. Let's turn down the lights here. A little too dark there. Hold on. So I got my hashtag light here. I found that on eBay. Anyway, not eBay. Anyway, Amazon. Hello again, Stefan from Canada. You might have heard of it. Yeah. Thanks for the book recommendations and teaching. I did college JS. You made it easy. Cheers. Cool. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks for letting people know that you like my courses. I took your dating advice on hygiene. I wash myself behind the ear every day, and now I have better results. There you go, Mr. Toilet Terrorist. Yeah, ear washing is very important if you're dating. There's no question about that. What do you think about the H2 database? I don't know. I have not looked at it. Cheers. I have to acknowledge every official salute. Cheers. Code long and profit. How to learn Python effectively. You want to write Python code, you start with a good beginner's course. I'm going to shamelessly self-promote my own course. So where are we here? So I'm going to go with my desktop courses. I got a nice course here. Check it out, Beginner's Python. If you don't like it, you get your money back. Here it is, Beginner's Python. It covers a lot. Introduction, data types and variables. So that includes data structures, basics. Learn Python while drawing, loops, iterations, object-oriented Python, PHP, Python OP, files, exception, etc. It's a great way to get going with Python. And if you want to take it to the next level, I got certifications as well, Python 3 certifications. I got a package as well that gives you a discount. So you can check that out. Yeah, that's how you learn Python. I have to promote my own stuff, It's only natural. All right, I got a super chat. Let me just jump to that. Super chat. All right. Appreciate the coffee, Ricky. Ricky Garcia, what it says. My company is moving from Craft to Drupal. Oh, wow. PHP based, yeah. Coming from TypeScript and C#, it feels weird. Hoping to increase my salary from 110K to more. Yeah, that's cool, man. Drupal, wow, okay, that's cool. Yeah, Drupal is very powerful, very powerful. Drupal is one of the big CMSs out there. It was Drupal, WordPress, and Joomla, all PHP based. So there. Just under 1K. Satera, hey, how are you? Cheers. Satera is one of our moderators. Very cool. Oh dear, just behind the ears. Well, it's a start, right? It's a start. Let's see what else we got here. Ooh, you're an audiophile. Top headphone recommendation. I love my headphones. It depends on the type of music. If you're listening to like jazz, stringed instruments, that kind of stuff, Grados are great headphones, expensive. But the earmuffs, the Grado muffs, they itch like hell. They're not very comfortable. Those are very good. I think the best headphones out there are the Sennheisers. They're not cheap though, the Sennheisers. So I was a huge audiophile. Now I have Bang & Olufsen, all my audio gear, my sound bar, and I got these great portable speakers. Let me show you. I'm going to go to, since you guys are into audio, hold on a second. Very quick. Let's see what's going on Discord right now. So people are joining. We're almost there. Hold on. All right. So people are joining. Thanks for joining. Let me go back. So if you want to get some really good high quality audiophile level sound without breaking the bank, I recommend this Bluetooth speaker here. This is a Bang & Olufsen Bluetooth. It sounds really, really good, like really good. Like comparable, if you set them up properly, comparable to my old $4,500, $5,000 speakers. You can pair these. You can get 2 of them. They're about $300 a piece, so they're not cheap, but they sound really, really good. And you pair them, and you get a great big stereo image, good bass. Highly recommend. They're battery powered, last 20 hours. Bang & Olufsen, highly recommended. And they look great too, right? They're very, very low key, you know? So let's see if I can get these in focus. Come on, there we go. Very low key, very nice. They got a nice app, and they run on battery. You can plug them in, USB-C. Highly recommend if you're to, and you put 2, 1 on each side, 1 here, 1 there. I got 2, and you get it fills the room with sound, but it doesn't disturb the neighbors. It's great, great, great speaker. So if you're into audio. All right, so let's go on. Rip Bowie. Yeah, David Bowie, amongst the best. One of my, amongst my favorites. Yeah. Have a question for you. How important is computer networks for a web developer or software developer? You have to know the basics. Like in my book, which is on basic web design, I actually teach about computer networks, HTTP protocol. I teach about all that, understanding what FTP or is HTTP. It's all very important stuff. And you have to understand that, at least this, you don't have to be an expert at it, but you have to understand the basics of networking and so forth. Because the whole web is just a giant network, right? So you should understand that. So I'm just excited to see, did we reach our, how are we doing here? Don't switch. Oops, don't switch. All right, so all these people with the green arrows, these are all people who just joined. Here to code long and profit. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Colton, welcome to the stream. All right, so we got people joining. All right, so where are we at? I want to check to see. I'm excited to get to 2,000. No, 2,000, 1,000. 996 members. 996 members. So we're so very close. So is there anything on here that I shouldn't show? Okay, I think we're good. So if I go back to desktop, see right here, 996 members. Come on. We're almost there, almost there. Very cool. Okay, let's see. I'll answer a few more questions here. I can only listen to ambient drone whilst coding. Yeah, if you're into ambient music, I'm telling you, Caravanserai, man. This is like, this is an album that is, a lot of people don't know about. It's like really, really, really good. This is good ambient music, man. I highly recommend. I give this album a 9 on 10. 9 on 10. Yeah, so check that out. I think you enjoy it. And you impress the ladies. Yeah. Let's continue. It's good. Just under 1K, just behind the ears. Do you use UML or ERD before you write code? Not anymore. UML came into itself in the 90s, and it got so silly. People started coming out with all these UML tools. UML is a universal modeling language. I think it is. Yeah, universal modeling language. And it was just a language. You have boxes and lines and arrows, and had specific meaning. And people would map out their class structures for your applications that way. And then people started, as nerds typically do, they started taking it way too far, where they started using, having the UML diagram. So you'd build your UML diagram of your object, of your class structure, your object structure for your application in UML. And then some of these tools, you'd press a button and it would generate all the Java classes for you, as an example. So it became crazy, and then they started going beyond. So what happened, it got so crazy, UML became its own really clunky programming language. It was so stupid. So no, I'm not a big UML person, because Yeah, I'm just not a big UML person. So it can have its uses, but you got, like anything else, you got to use it with a light touch, you know? All right, how we doing here? Let's see, 997 members. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. How are robots programmed to figure out what they should do? I know how they can be programmed to do object detection on the incoming footage or parse data from sensors, but how can they decide what? Well, that's getting into a whole complex rabbit hole there. It depends on what the robot does. It depends on, there could be AI involved with that. There could be just traditional programming involved with that, with pattern recognition. Really depends on what's going on there. I would agree. Yeah. Coding newbie here. Am I right in thinking Swift uses var and let, but Python only uses variables? What are the pros and cons of this? How should I? They both use. In all honesty, I forget the keywords used in Swift. It's been years since I looked at Swift. They both use, these are just keywords that tell the interpreters what to do with the variables. I would have to look at what Swift does these days to give you an answer. You have a lot of times in programming languages, they'll have different keywords and syntax that do the same thing. So an array in JavaScript will have a different structure than an array in Python. And to be honest with you, even though I haven't written Python in a while now, I forget if they have an array. They have arrays, they have collection objects, but I'm not sure if they use the keyword array in Python. They probably do. But all the languages have good capabilities. They all have their pros and cons. So Tin Audio, T1 are amazing in ear monitors. Oh, there you go. I learned Django a while ago. If I want to freelance, is it worth learning PHP and Laravel, or does Django do the job? Just look around at the local job opportunities and see what's up. What you'll probably see is a lot more opportunity in the PHP world. So that's just a function of PHP's popularity out there for small business. Audio Technicals are great, highly recommended. So is it so true about avoiding debt? I dropped out of college after only 5 months. It still had over 10,000 debt. Thankfully, I paid it off. It paid it all off now. Yeah, very good. You don't want to, if your goal is to become a developer, you do not need to go to college and get into debt. I highly recommend you don't, because college debt is pernicious debt. It's the worst debt possible. You're literally building shackles around your neck, but you can't get rid of it unless you pay it off. So don't do it for coding. Take Studioweb. If you want the full experience with the support and the group experience and the consultation, for a fraction of the price of college, you can take my my mentoring program here. Just check it out, link below. You get everything, including certifications, quizzing, job interview prep, resume building, the whole thing, private mentoring, private consultations. You don't need to go into debt. I highly recommend you don't do that, because it's very pernicious debt. Okay, we'll leave it at that. You can drop the money on some good headphones or speakers. My current headphones are noise canceling, able to do the work on the Sony WH-1000XM4. I'm sure the Sonys are good. I'm a PHP and Python with Django developer. Where do I start with job hunting, or do I go become a freelancer? Whether you're a freelancer or you get a job depends on the type, your personality. It's a personality thing at the end of the day. Let's see what the Discord is up to. 999. 999. Who's going to be, the next person is going to be the 1,000th. We're at 999 right here. So close, so close. Next person is going to be the 1,000. 1,000, so close. Who's going to be the 1,000? Yeah. So, Sweet Feet was 999. Who's going to be the 1,000? I'm pretty sure Sweet Feet was 999. All right, so just going to check one more time. Members. 999 still. So close. What a tease. I know Satana, but not that one. I will check it, sir. Yeah, everybody knows Abraxas, which is a fantastic album. Santana Abraxas. But that one is a very mood. It's kind of Satana meets Pink Floyd. It's a very good album. I think you'll like it a lot. These are all three extensively used in enterprise applications, but yep, they can be used to create RC applications for toys. Thanks for all you do, Stef. You're a great role model for young business owners and offer a lot of very, very useful wisdom. Your advice has led me to make some great business moves. Hey, great. All right, Elsie. I'm glad I was able to help. Good stuff. Yeah, UML devs. Any analogs of Elasticsearch, Kafka, Cassandra, Spark for high-load written PHP, Python, or JS? I do not know. What are your top 3 advices for someone starting their first job in the tech industry? Other than get your agreement and NDA before work, plus know your country, province laws, unemployment, laugh out loud. Yeah, well, that's for sure. Well, your first job, you want to impress. So that means you want to be the person who is the most useful around there. Be the person that they can count on. So if you say you're going to deliver the code by Friday, make sure you deliver that code by Friday. Go out there, help people out, make people's lives around you easier, co-workers, bosses, etc. Be friendly, and then you're going to rise up quickly, because when you help people out, you make people's lives easier, they will go out of their way to make your life easier. So trust me on that one. So that's my advice really off the top of my head. Love from India. Thanks for joining the stream. Stay safe in India. I know you're dealing with the COVID situation as we had out here. Any tips on learning Angular? First, learn your web stack, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Make sure you understand JavaScript well, and then you can jump into Angular. Your web stack course is not 5 stars, but 10 stars. I appreciate that, Scott. Thank you very much. Is there a place for desktop programmers in the future? Thanks from Brazil. I think desktop programming in the future will be with web technology. Microsoft is already moving in that direction. Yeah, well, it's already largely implemented with .NET. So, again, I usually recommend for the broadest chance of jobs is to just do the web stack, because you can do web apps, traditional web apps. You can do PWA, you can do desktop. You can do all kinds of different things. But pure desktop native programming is becoming more and more niche, because everybody's moving to the phone, right? Everybody's cross-platform. So depending, if you're developing a game engine or a game, you're gonna do desktop. But for a lot of business apps, you won't. All right, how are we doing? How many people? Whoa! All right, I gotta show this. We leapfrog 1,006 members. Fantastic. Thanks, guys, for joining. New milestone today. Cool. Double guns. Thanks for joining. The Discord is getting pretty substantial after only a week. Cool. So I'm not sure who was 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Level 0 was member 1,000. I'm guessing. 1,000. There we go. That's it. We made it. In less than 2 weeks, a week and a half, we made 1,000 people on the Discord server. Thanks for joining, everybody. It's gonna pick up. We're gonna keep adding to this server, so it's a lot more. So it's interesting for people, a lot of fun for people. Already is a lot of people on there. How many people are there now? We have 175 people now on Discord. Yeah, so pretty good. How are we doing for time? 47 minutes, so we're going to be ending this soon. Love your courses, Stef. You make everything simple to understand, but at a fraction of the price of other online courses. Thank you. Thank you. Great. Thanks for letting me know. Congratulations on understanding. So, JavaScript Laravel and Python on Rails. Let's go on. Let's go. All right. So, appreciate that. Thanks, Phil. Phil goes deep. I can make a joke there, but I won't. Why NPM packages are so large? Well, NPM is apparently still a mess. I haven't looked at NPM in a long time, but when I looked at it way back, I said, ooh, big mess. So I said no. And apparently the guy who created Node would agree with that statement. That's why he left and did something else. And Deno, I think it is. Hello from Italian in Ireland. Hello. What's your thoughts on mainframe? There's probably going to be mainframe work for the foreseeable future. So if you're willing to do that kind of coding in COBOL, is it COBOL? Also, I'm having a mental snafu right now. I'm forgetting basic stuff. But anyway, if you're willing to do mainframe programming, probably some very high-paying jobs there for you if you want to do that. How future-proof is web development via AI versus AI? Let me just say that people ask me this all the time. There is no way in the next 10 to 20 years that AI will kill web development. There's just no way. Impossible. I know people are deep into AI development, and unless they come up with the singularity, which means we're all dead, if they don't, until that comes, web development will not be replaced by AI. They will use AI to enhance the process with like fancy AI-driven code completion, etc. But in terms of replacing developers, no. It will just shift the jobs over a little bit. When I was first started web development back in the early 90s, we used to do a lot of boilerplate stuff that now is like done for us automatically, like date pickers, building dynamic graphs on the fly. This is all stuff we had to build manually. What a pain. So now just drop in a library, boom, 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 HTML5 supports date picking, etc. You don't have to do that anymore. So what you'll see with AI-based supportive tools, you'll see that shift happen again. We'll just shift over again. It's not, trust me, you'll be fine with web development in terms of jobs. I would not be worried in the least. In the least. All right. Hi, Stefan. After having gone through a web dev bootcamp, I feel I have a solid understanding. However, I still rely on the notes I took during camp. What do you think should be my next step? Your next step should be to actually go out there and do a couple of free freelance jobs for companies. Yeah, that's your next step. And so that you can get some real world experience. Then with that experience, you can put it on a demo website. And then from that will open up opportunities for jobs. But it's normal when you're first starting out that you're not going to remember things. That's why they have IDEs and code editors. And look at me. I've written so many lines of code in Java, and I forget the basics of what the API is about. Python, I forget even now if Python has an array, even though I built courses on it. But it takes 2 minutes to just go look. Okay, yeah, there's an array. No, it's a tuple, or no, it's whatever, a DICT. So anyway, I hope that helps. There we go. So let's one last check. We're doing good. So we've made some progress. We got our memes going. Welcome aboard. We got people joining. So we're well over 1,000. Fantastic. That's good news. Happy about that. A lot of fun. It's fun building new communities. What are we at? Members. So 107 members. Very cool. All right, guys. Any other questions before I let you guys go? I agree regarding AA. Same with low-code, no-code. All as devs, we just move up the value chain. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Just consider them as power tools, right? Just when they invented drills, it didn't replace carpenters. When they invented electric saws, it didn't replace carpenters. It just made their lives a little easier, and that's what's going to happen with these tools. What kind of typing is it called when you don't have to explicitly declare the type of the variable, but the compiler still recognizes it and yells at you? Kotlin and Rust are this way. Oh, geez, that's a good question. That is, Well, you know, wait a second. That's loose. That's loosely typed, but they always, compilers will guess, right? I have to look at Rust. I haven't looked at Rust and Kotlin, so I have to see what they do. There's a lot of hybrid approaches as well. So a lot of times they can guess what the type is. You can infer it. Swift does that, I believe, as well. So, yeah. Laravel in the next years. Yeah, Laravel, I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. Cheers. All right. Thanks a lot, Stefan. Very much appreciate it. As soon as I can, it will be repaid. Yeah, no worries, dude. All right. Thanks for joining the stream. Thanks for joining the Discord. You can continue the conversations on the Discord channel. Link is below. And there you go. There's a lot of developers on there. 1,000 people now. So you have questions, a good place to go. There's the lounge and all these different areas. And that's about it. We'll talk soon. I'll leave you with my ASMR boat.